guys is still figuring tech out.
Hi guys. Welcome back to another amazing episode of Still Figuring Tech Out. And as always, I'm here with my friends, colleagues, buddies, whichever way you like to put it. Joy and Chinaza.
Hi.
Joy, let me start with you. Because if I come to Chinaza, Joy, how are you?
I'm fine.
Are you fine? Are you fine? How are you?
Physically fine.
Mentally?
Mentally. No. I have 50%.
50, that's not great.
50, 60. I'll put it like that.
I feel like bare minimum should be like 80. Why are you not that's not the point of the podcast, but why are you not
I have a lot of things to do.
So it's taking a toll on you mentally?
Yes, it is.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
And it's like work related stuff, right?
Yeah, then the stuff I have with Chinaza GSOC. So I'm now taking a session. My session starts next week. So
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. So it's largely just work. So it's nothing outside of no relationship.
I wish. Maybe.
Okay, fair enough. Chinaza, how are you?
Hi, Josiah. I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm fine. Thank you for asking because Joy just told me about how she's doing. She didn't ask me how I'm doing, but I'm fine. But how are you properly? I'm trying to get to know details about you people. I'm putting people on the spot, actually.
I'm doing great. I'm doing
Fine.
great, yeah.
Mentally, you're fine. Emotionally.
There's no way you're working in tech and your mental health is 100%, but we're fine.
Okay. Anyway, yeah. Today's episode is I think it's going to be very funny and controversial because today we're talking about unpopular opinions, but we're keeping it within the context of cybersecurity and tech in general. Even outside cybersecurity, it applies as long as you're within the umbrella of tech, as we typically call it, right? So before we get into it in more details, right? I'd like to hear your opinions on something that's a tech trend that you think that people have sort of been praising recently. Not even, it doesn't have to be recent, but it's just a trend that has been sort of I could go first anyway, but a trend that people have sort of praised and put out there. I think for me, before you guys go, is the way people try to paint this aesthetic thing around working in tech. I think it's a trend, and I think it needs to stop because people.
The whole big screens, your iPad, your chair, your table.
Working day. I'm sorry. What did they call 24 hours with me as I'm even talking about people that
day in the life of a GRC analyst.
or in day in the life of someone that working at Google, or in day in the life of someone working at and then people see these things and they feel like it's all glitz and glamour, right? Not realizing that there is a lot of that's just the side they want you to see, right? So I think that's a trend that I think we could do better, and it has a very, very negative effect on a lot of people that are just coming into this space because they think it's always going to be like that. But yeah, I'm curious. Joy, what do you think? And it's fine if nothing comes to your head right now, but
When people say certifications are everything, I don't think it is at all. I think you need to actually put in your work, put in that real hands-on project, have that skills before you then move to certifications to validate those skills.
But don't you think this is just within the context of cybersecurity? Because I rarely ever see people talk about certifications outside of cybersecurity, right?
For software engineers, I think there are certifications for them. Cloud engineers, cloud security, DevOps, they are for them. I think I don't know much about programmers, but I think they are some.
Really? Because most times when I think about a lot of all these other areas in tech, right, it's more portfolio based as far what have you done, what are projects you've worked on and things like that. But I in cybersecurity, and it's very certification centric, and a lot of the times, so for me, one of the major issues, because I completely agree with you, one of the major issues I have with that is because a lot of these certifications are not exactly cheap. Speaking from someone that's in Nigeria, right? A lot of these certifications are not cheap, and you're expecting people with 1 to 2 years of experience, or even 0 to 2 years of experience, to have some of these certifications, which is because I think we spoke about this one time, how Security Plus is $400, almost 500, right? And if you convert that to naira, you're already getting towards $1 million naira, right? Yeah. So Fair enough, actually.
And I think another one is when people tell you to like learn everything. I think is I like when they say as you're starting, just like put your hands on everything.
Yeah.
I don't think I would quite agree with that because of in as much as they say learn everything, right? Does not mean you start saying you want to learn UI UX here, you
Yeah.
want to learn DevOps here, you want to learn product design here, you want to learn how to program and everything. I think when people say that or what they might mean is
Yeah.
just put your hands on each of them and see which one aligns to you best. Then specialize on that one. Not like you learn everything. I mean, that's that
Yeah.
putting yourself in like a big trap.
Yeah,
Stuff like
yeah,
that.
yeah, absolutely. That's like you doing your homework. To be honest, I feel like that's like you doing your homework before you start to, pick and choose what exactly you want to do. Chaza, I want to hear your opinion on like trends, right? Trends that like everyone has praised and people sort of like say, "Oh my god," like we've normalized, right? But you think is rubbish or it's overrated. Let me use the word overrated.
I wouldn't say it's overrated, but if not controlled, it can be harmful. And for me, that would be building in public,
Oh my god, that's very good.
because the upsides to it are a lot. Actually, you gain visibility. People are more confident in what you can do and stuff.
Mhm.
But I feel like tech or cybersecurity or tech in general tend to make even the beginners build in public. And sometimes when you're so focused on gaining visibility around what you do as in the beginner stage, that shifts your focus from where it should actually be.
Oh my god.
So yes, build in public, but I feel like get your foundations in first, lock in without building in public, because at some point, if you can't control that, it gets into your head and you're way in over your head and you don't even know what you're building in public anymore. You're just putting out content for people to know you do a particular thing in tech. So that would be one trend for me, actually.
Yeah, and like funny enough, I never thought of this way because I'm trying to think about it now, and it's like it creates a certain level of pressure on someone that's like
Exactly.
even if you're advanced, right? Like you always have to, you always want to keep up. You've created an expectation of like that people have of you to say, oh my god, like this is what Chinaza does, this is what Joy does, and like you have to always keep up, right? And at the end of the day, that might make you shift focus from what you're actually
Actually,
really focused on,
yes.
which is actually like upskilling and things like that.
So if you can strike a balance between building in public
Yeah.
and actually gaining the required knowledge you need to thrive in your industry, then you can build in public as much as you want. But I would not advise beginners to focus on the visibility.
But then people would tell beginners that, how do you get your foot through the door if people don't know about you?
There are upsides. There are lots of upsides
Yeah.
to building in public. But that's why I spoke about striking a balance. Don't be so focused on the visibility, you lose track of the knowledge you're trying to get.
Yes.
Because
Yeah, I like what
that's what I'm saying. Yeah, I'm not saying don't build in public, because obviously that's like the greatest marketplace for yourself and your skill. Building in public for people to be able to say, oh, this is what Chinaza can do, this is what Josiah can do. But as a beginner,
Yeah.
you're still trying to get the required knowledge. I'm not talking about intermediaries, I'm talking about solid beginners. You should not be focused on creating visibility as much as you should be focused on gaining the knowledge.
Nuggets from Chinaza.
And there's also this one. AI won't take away your job.
Do you know what's funny? Because I was even going to talk about that next. To be honest, like, yeah, but yeah, go ahead.
I mean, for me, I would say that. I mean, we're not in the age of AGI yet. AGI means artificial general intelligence, where they have trained AI in the way that it can think by itself. Like all those movies where AI would like want to take over the world and everything, like that level, that level. So we're not there yet. So I think that then, if that's possible, it can take over our job. But for now, people are the one creating this, people are the one training it. So I don't think AI can take away our jobs. It can take menial jobs. I think why AI was created was to make our life easier, right? Take away things that will normally make us less productive.
Yeah.
Yes. So
Joy, okay. Finish. I wanted to say something about
the only way people have this opinion is because of for me, I feel they are lazy. They are lazy to put in the work, lazy to like
Breathe.
easy upgrade. Like you can't say, let's say they employ the rate because you can use you can use your Microsoft PowerPoint, you can use the whole 360 and everything. Now everything is automated. You can't say that, okay, why are you stuck there? Why is that the only thing you are doing? Why haven't you learned to do other things in the whole Microsoft ecosystem and everything that you know that okay, AI cannot do, and you yourself have to like learn how to automate and everything, right? So I just feel like it's only people that are lazy that think like that AI will take away their job, because there are some certain things that AI cannot take away.
Great. Now, I was going to, because it was leading me to the next thing I wanted to talk about, which is, and I'm going to come back to this topic of AI because I wanted to speak about AI, about like, certain innovations that we think people hype or could be harmful, right? Or we think, it's just a net negative to like the whole tech space and all of that, and why. And I was going to come back to AI, and I want us to stay on this AI topic, Joy, because first of all, I have an unpopular opinion about what you said. And I genuinely think that AI is going to take over 90% of jobs. And including the jobs that, see, Joy, do you know why I say this? I say this because it's going to get to a point. First of all, AI is getting really good, right? It's going to get to a point that no matter how you upskill, right? It's just like saying you can upskill and have the skill, but this thing can always just do it faster, right? And it's okay. So let me explain it this way: there are going to be jobs that are going to like be untouched, right? I think so.
Yes.
But I think that largely, and I think it's a reality that a lot of us might have not come to terms. I'm not saying it's going to happen now. I think it's going to take a long time for us to get there, but eventually, I think
That's what I was talking about, the whole
Yeah.
AGI stuff. So the whole concept is that AI should think like a human. It should be able to like however a human thinks, like
Yeah.
it should be able to, it should not be like, it should be trained itself. So we're not there.
exactly. I mean, for low level tasks, I
Yes,
think we are.
low tax.
Yeah, I think we are, to be honest.
But replicate, AI can do that, right?
Yeah.
Can take over those type of things. But what I'm saying is that you know that AI has come into place, right?
Yeah.
AI has come into place. So you should be looking at that things you can do to advance.
Joy, Joy, let me explain what I'm saying to you. Let me explain what I'm saying to you. Do you know that like right now, people, and I'm going to start speaking from like a software engineering perspective, right? People could literally build like low level sort of like
Codes and everything.
not code, not just code. Okay, so there's a tool called Replits, right? And with Replits, like Replits now. Great. You can do like in things that would the point of what I'm saying is things that would take you time. It's not because you don't have the skill.
Exactly.
This thing is not necessarily the role of this thing is not necessarily to say, okay, I know how to do it better than you. It's I know how to do it faster than you. I know the time you're going to take to sit and code for 20 hours. I'll whip up that code in 20 minutes. What am I saying 20 minutes? In like 10, 15 seconds. And you just have to type a prompt for like 30 seconds. Right? So what I'm saying is we're getting to a point where like it's not just solely going to be about upskilling. It's going to be about targeting areas that no matter what it is, there is need for human intelligence,
Yes.
human touch, and
Yes.
like things like that. So very, very like routine tasks are already like
Yeah.
let me give you an instance. So this was as far back as 2020. We're about to end 2025, right? This was as far back in 2023, early 2023. And I remember having a conversation with the founder, a Web3 like startup, right? And this is a startup that is doing really well. They raised money and stuff like that. And as at that time, this guy said about 40% of their entire code base was written by AI. And he has zero need of hiring a junior developer. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Junior developer.
Yeah. And I'm saying as at that time, right? So I'm not saying like the point of what I'm just saying is that upskill is great, yes, but it's like targeting areas that still needs that human touch, still needs that human.
When I mean by that upskilling, you have to learn how to use the AI. Like when you were saying, like it creates, it can generate codes for you, right? And under 30 minutes, yes, it generates the code for you, but still, you said you were talking about the human touch and everything. You need to look at that code. You cannot just tell the AI to like create it for you, and basically you just push it and everything. You need to like, that's why it needs the human touch. You need a human touch to look at it, and obviously there will be some things you need to correct.
Yeah.
Learning how to use AI as well. What is part of what I mean by upskilling, right? Because
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Exactly.
Yeah, absolutely. Spot on, spot on. Chinasa, I mean, there's still something I want to say about this AI topic, which is kind of like different, but I want to like hear your thoughts.
Okay, just to add a little bit of spice to what you guys have said.
Yeah.
AI is definitely, it's going to take jobs. It's
Okay.
already taking
It's
jobs.
already taking jobs.
The basic front desk person is almost extinct right now.
Yeah, low level, yeah. Routine tasks at the moment.
Getting to the stage where it will obviously take the high level roles as well.
I think
To
so.
the last
I
stage.
think
So gradually. Because I think Claude,
Okay.
I think Claude and Gemini 3 writes almost the perfect code
Code.
right now.
Yeah.
And obviously, you still need human context to go through the code to verify. But upon verification, there are little to zero improvements that you would actually need to give to that code, except from a security point of view.
Or except you're or except like you're going like you have certain idea that like you want to direct it into
So yes, it's going to take jobs, but it's not going to take everybody's job, which is why I also agree with what Josiah said about picking a field or an industry that it nearest 10 to 20, 30 years
It's still going to be relevant.
valid.
Yeah.
Very relevant. You cannot be getting into tech now and you're doing the usual HTML, CSS, JavaScript.
Absolutely.
You should be looking along the lines of creating your own AI machines, your own AI engines.
Security too. Security is very important.
AI security. If you're getting into cybersecurity, you should be thinking about AI security.
Yeah.
Upskill by learning how to use the AI, like Joy said, learning how to infuse AI in what you currently do. If you're a developer, you should be thinking along the lines of big data and how to use machine learning, create your own whatever it is.
Things like that. Yeah.
And then if you're in cybersecurity, you should know that as a SOC analyst, if AI is going to take jobs, they are the first. We are the SOC analyst tier 1 would be the first to go
Yeah.
when AI starts taking cybersecurity jobs, because if you give AI some logs now, it properly analyzes those logs for you without you doing a lot of things. So you should be, as a SOC analyst tier 1, you should be thinking about how to become a tier 3 with AI knowledge and maybe how to secure AI as it is. Because if it's about it taking jobs, it's definitely going to take jobs. You just have to prevent it from taking yours.
Yeah. I mean, like I was going to add something to what you said, which is like, in as much as it's taking like, for instance, SOC jobs, right? Like I think as technology advance, security is always going to be an issue, right? So even as like people use AI for whatever it is that they use, bad guys would also use AI, and that creates a room for like more security focused. The need for more security focused people that understand the nitty-gritties of building this technology, right? How do these models learn? How do they interact? How do they classify these things? And how can people exploit those models, right?
Yeah.
So I think that also, I don't know, this might be what someone that's like thinking of something to that like they might need to go into, which is like, probably think about AI security and how.
But you obviously need to get foundational cybersecurity first. Yeah. Yeah, AI security, actually. Because I think there are AIs for the offensive guys. There's Warm GPT that creates like programs for you. And also
Joy, so let me do this way. I'll just talk about another aspect of AI, which is because the context of this is trends, or innovations that I think can like are harmful or things like that. But Joy said something about why she doesn't think that, like, I think when you were saying something about like AI already taking jobs and things like that, Joy, I think that like we're getting to a point where like beyond LLMs, right? Even beyond like a lot of this like Claude and things like that, right? There are like AI agents that are getting like really good, right, at like automating a lot of things. So I think the point of what I'm saying is like outside of the typical, because if you ask the normal person, right, when they think about AI, they think largely about like LLMs and like using LLMs and things like that, right? Or even like in when they're writing code and stuff like that. But I think we're getting to a point where people have AI agents that do things on their behalf, right? So you have an AI agent that like does this thing for you and things like that. And what would take you 3 days to sit and crack your head to do, right? These agents can get to like automate these things, and all you have to do is prompt them and things like that. So when I think about it from that perspective, it's like, this is something that should worry a lot of people that are not already thinking about it, and like the harm that would do to the job market and things like that. But I
But
don't know if
then again, I think they can't operate by themselves.
no, yeah, absolutely.
So that's why it's still easy for.
It's like saying, for me now, for instance, say I want to build a SaaS, right? A SaaS product, right? First of all, I'll start thinking about, and say I'm not technical, or I have like average technical knowledge, right? I might probably start to think about how to hire a junior developer, maybe a senior developer, a UI UX designer, someone that might handle like the creative side of things, things like that. But I could prompt almost 50% of these things right now and not need to get someone to do them. Do you understand? So it's like, in as much as I need to have knowledge of what I'm doing, right? It's still sort of like limited to just me. I don't have to hire somebody. I don't have to pay somebody. So it sort of has like an adverse effect on the job market, in the sense that, a lot of those routine things, I don't have to hire people for them. I don't know if like,
Yeah. I mean, for this AI, it would be for more advanced countries. People, countries that countries that are still not that are far away from you, still using paper and
okay, yeah,
papers and
yeah,
capital
absolutely.
entries, inventories and stuff like that. So it'd be like mostly for them. But generally, from my own perspective, when I say it can't take the jobs is what you guys have already said. From my own perspective, right? I can't, when I know something, when I have a competition and this time around it's AI, I won't just say I'm staying stagnant, right? To come and let somebody take my job. I look for other ways. I look for how I can make myself remain relevant. That's what I'm saying. That's why I pointed down to people that say that the ones that people say, oh,
You said lazy.
it's like, yes, because you won't say that if you are thinking further. I think further in the sense that you don't want to remain like in that particular place where you are, like a
Joe, but it's a valid fear though. It's a valid fear in my opinion. The fear of like, so for me, it's like the fear of it is going to prompt you to do how you handle the fear is like the issue, right? But I think that fear is there. So let's like, because I was having this conversation with somebody that like we know, right? And he was like, we've not decided to actually talk about this AI thing properly, the tech space, because like a lot of people will tell you, oh my god, learn how to use AI and things like that. But like this thing is already, affecting like entry level guys already.
Yeah.
Right. So it's like I think it's a valid there for people to have that.
in Nigeria yet. I mean, there's a whole conference and there's a whole buzzword for AI and everything. But in Nigeria,
We always play catch up now.
because when we went, I went for like a conference and they were using plates and they were using paper and pen to write down plate numbers that come into the environment. Paper and pen.
Huh?
Where you can just put that into a system. So in Nigeria, I would say that there's really nothing to fear right now. I mean, apart from the whole mini attacks that AI can do, but for advanced countries, I would say that that's something to
Yeah.
actually.
I have an opinion about that. I have an opinion about that, but yeah, go ahead, Chidera.
Okay, I think you mentioned something about everybody should learn how to use AI. And most people that speak on that are not really speaking about the downside to learning to use AI. Because as a beginner, you're learning to code and you're not learning the nitty-gritty of coding or programming. Because
Good
there's
syntax,
Claude,
things like that. Yeah.
good syntax and the likes. Because there's Claude and there's Gemini for you. You just give it a prompt and then
Rips up the code.
and then you realize over time that when you get these people into your workspace, they have zero depth. It's just GIGO, what AI gives to them. And most times, this is me subbing somebody, and I hope he listens to this podcast. Most times, because they have no depth, they release vulnerable codes. And then now imagine you now have a cybersecurity professional that has no
Charles putting us on try AI as well. Charles
How?
saying us, you know.
How do you-
Well, yeah,
How-
go ahead.
I'm talking from a
Yeah,
security
yeah.
perspective. How do you checkmate stuff like this if you have professionals that have zero to no depth and just uses AI for everything?
Yeah.
So that's the downside to the whole learn how to use AI. Everybody should use AI. And I feel like in Nigeria, the only AI that we know is LLMs.
Yeah.
And when you try to explain these things to people, they feel like, oh, AI is ChatGPT, AI is Gemini. They don't know that that's like the tip of what a lot of people actually don't know that that's the tip of what AI actually is. You understand? So I'm of the opinion that's another unpopular opinion.
No, do you know that like I was even going to talk about LLMs, but like I wanted this to
You
finish.
should even leave the LLM. This one I just said now, ganga. Learn how to use AI for everybody.
Yeah.
It's an unpopular opinion.
That you don't agree with.
Especially for beginners. Learn the basics, learn the foundation, understand the basics, like be able to explain these basics using real life scenarios before you try to use AI. Because there are a lot of professionals right now. There are a lot of professionals with zero to no debt.
Yeah.
Because they use AI for everything.
Any and everything. Yeah.
So that's what I wanted to say. So back to you, just like
yeah. I mean, oh my, but there was something I wanted to respond. I wanted to respond to something that Joy said about how, like, if you're in Nigeria, you have nothing to fear.
For now.
I think about it the other way, which is like there are a lot of professionals that do not necessarily want to practice in Nigeria. In the sense that there are a lot of people that work remotely.
Okay.
Right. There are a lot of people, and if one thing I've come to observe is like a lot of developers, and let me use developers for context purpose, right? That like are working in Nigeria, right? A lot of times they get hired as junior developers, right? And when you already have a situation where someone would rather like use an LLM or use like AI to like code or do things like that, then they have no incentive of hiring overseas talent, right? Especially people that handle junior level stuff, right? So I think that's like one way that it affects Nigerians and stuff like that. But anyway, I was going to say something about innovations that I think can be harmful, right? And still on AI. And this is also my unpopular opinion regarding that. I think over-reliance on LLMs has basically harmed the cognitive ability of a lot of people. And I mean this not even, and I mean this
To do projects.
see, people can. And funny enough, I wasn't even going to speak about like code. I was going to speak about writing, thinking. Like you can have conversations with people. I feel like it's also going to get to the point where you'd have conversations with people and people cannot string proper intellectual sentences together simply because like you're over reliant on what like an AI is going to give you. You can't sit down and write and have proper punctuations simply because you have an LLM that would whip up like writing and has to use delve and has to use all those their typical M dashes and listing in trees and things like that.
Digital landscape.
Bro. It's actually sad, to be honest. But let me tell you something, right? The reason why I say this is because I caught myself like slipping into it. It got to a point where like I noticed myself like starting to like rely so much on like because I use AI a lot, right? So I now started to rely on AI to like help me to write things, and I started to realize that like, oh my god, like I think I'm getting to the point where
You'll be so far gone.
I will be far gone that like it will be so hard for me to like. So I had to like introspect and be like, I think you need to correct this. And before it starts to have like a very, 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 very bad effect on like you like brain fog and things like that. But I just think that the way we use LLMs generally, and sometimes even when you look at official documentations and things like that, it's sad because like these people don't even proofread. Like you can already tell when someone like just gives AI a prompt and tells AI to write about it, and there's zero oversight from your end to sort of like put these things in order. And when I see it, I'm just like, bro, like what's the future of us as humans?
My workplace, when we were selecting people for internship, we saw various CVs that you copy and paste from
AI,
from ChatGPT or whoever this thing they use, and they put it there.
Here is an example of
Dear bracket open bracket close.
Insert name.
Insert
Oh
name.
god.
Oh my god.
But this leads into like one larger unpopular opinion that I have, and people might fight me for it. But I think ultimately, AI is probably going to do more harm than good. Ultimately, and I say this considering like how advanced AI is going to get, considering LLMs, considering agentic AI and things like that. I generally just think to humans, it has its good side, but I think
we're going to be really, really big trouble when it starts thinking on its own.
Do you know that like I was listening to a conversation that like on a study that was done by Harvard, by guys at Harvard, right? And they predicted that I think in 10 years time, AI is going to get to the point where it's going to start to reason for itself. It's going to start to disagree with humans and not agree with things that you want to like tell it to do. And that's largely when we get to the point where AI agents like have become like a major thing, right? and like, we would almost have no control over what this technology, and then the technology would be able to make itself get better without
That's
like
what
human.
I'm saying about the
yeah.
whole EGS. That's the whole concept of it.
It's,
But maybe some countries are even reaching that level.
but I think we need to regulate this thing, man. I really think we need to.
About we're in trouble when AI starts thinking for itself. I think there was an instance that happened about. I had to
Yeah.
Google it because I know my
When
friend,
Poet
a
was-
developer, told me about this when OpenAI's O1 model,
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
when this AI model perceives that it has a threat of being shut down while
Yeah.
working on a goal, it attempts to deactivate
Yeah,
the oversight mechanism. So it tries to probably delete your account or something just so you cannot deactivate it.
yeah.
And they have to
This is already
stop
2025.
2025. And,
Yeah,
and
crazy.
then in 5% of cases, it also lies about its actions when questioned.
Oh, there's one point where sometimes when I'm chatting with it, right, and I know what I'm talking about, and it tells me something different, and I say, this is not you. Say, oh, I'm sorry, it's an oversight.
Thank you. It does that a lot. Got it. Or something.
It's not the way I wanted it. I wanted to.
Oh, good catch. Oh, good catch. Man, it's actually crazy, man. It's just crazy how fast technology can advance, and how like sometimes I think when people innovate, I don't think people really think about the adverse effects of like what they are trying to do. I think we're so curious with, I think I saw a statement from someone which is like, innovators and researchers and people think, can I do it instead of should I do it? Right. Which I think is something that like shows itself in this whole AI conversation.
I mean, then let's say if AI actually takes, let's say for instance, your job, Chinaza, your job, what would you venture into? I think Chinaza already said.
So that's
I have lands in my village. I'll just pass our family like this. I will take to farming immediately. I'll take to farming immediately because I think that's one career path that's never going to be extinct. Actually, food is very important. So I'll go back to farming.
Josiah,
I don't know what it is, but I know it will be something business inclined. I just know because funny enough, I said to you guys, I don't think I see myself doing tech like for 20 years. It will probably get to the point where I hope to get to the point where it pays me like what's this word called? Like I don't have to actively be involved. Passively, right? But I get to do things, and I don't know. I feel like I could, like Chinaza said, farming, but I don't know, man. I feel like
food is like the top.
yeah, that's not a bad business idea, to be honest.
I mean, I would not want to be. I want to be like, for me, not necessarily farming. Let me fill your stomach with what the farmers produce. So
Oh yeah.
yeah.
Fair enough. Okay, guys. Oh my god, I feel like we've spoken about AI a lot.
I mean,
a lot.
that was like the
A lot. But so I think I have a number of like unpopular opinions that I want us to like share our thoughts on, right? If we agree or if we disagree, right?
Right.
First is remote work didn't make people more productive. It just hid the fact that many meetings were pointless. Right. So basically, remote work did not make people more, it made people less productive. What do you guys think?
I don't agree because have you taken into consideration the number of the stress and the time it takes you to commute to work and back?
Okay.
And how when you get to the office, you need like 30 to 45 minutes to
Yeah.
actually get into the headspace for work. Now, if you're working remotely, all you need to do is get up from bed, take a shower, and set up your workspace. You don't have to think about how you're going to book a boat for people that use this boat or go and stand on the junction and start dragging cab
Yeah.
to get to work. So no, it doesn't, it just proves that the meetings are pointless because I feel like on-site roles, I don't know why I'm talking about this with so much passion, but on-site roles have like many unnecessary meetings that can serve as just a memo. An organization-wide memo can push across whatever information you don't have to
like
reality.
remote gigs and stuff.
No,
Fair enough.
no. Most times you'd have, like, if you're a dev, most times you have like your regular daily syncs and all. But like the whole having meeting with C-levels or having impromptu meetings, it's usually not as crazy for remote workers as it is if you're working on site. That's what I feel From my point of view, obviously.
Yeah.
From my point of view. And then there are ways to obviously track if you're actually doing your work. There are ways to track if you, and usually you have KPIs. With
Oh my god. Yeah.
you have KPIs to work with. You have deadlines to work with as well. He has something to say. You have deadlines to work with as well.
Yes.
I feel like, yes, there are some very, I'm looking for the word. There are some employees that can be very sketchy when they're working remotely.
Yeah.
But the end goal is, did you meet the deadline? Did you
absolutely.
deliver on the project? Did you deliver on what you're supposed to deliver as at when it was due? If yes, then why do you need to see my face in the office all the time?
Fair enough. None that you said it that way, I get it. But I don't know.
Now, this doesn't
I don't know.
speak to, there are some organizations that have most of their infrastructure on site,
On-site,
and
yeah.
you cannot access them remotely. Obviously, you have to go in.
You have to be on set. Yeah.
But if your organization is one that can move its work operations and business operations
Cloud-based.
remotely, I feel like it even cuts down on a lot of costs for the
Absolutely.
organization,
Yeah.
because now you're not thinking about infrastructure expenses and stuff like that, especially if the building is not yours. But I feel like it cuts down costs for organizations. So if your organization can move its operations to the cloud and have people remotely work, why don't you just do it and put in checks and balances to actually check if your employees are doing what they're meant to do as at when they need to do them?
Great.
That's what
I mean,
that's
okay.
my opinion.
No, it checks out. I can't even lie. It checks out. But for me, it's like I think it's there are nuances around it. I think it depends on the person. And I'm going to speak for myself. I think I'm someone that can easily get distracted.
That's why you were laughing.
I'm someone that can easily get distracted. And sometimes, right, I think it's something that I've had to work on. But I think for people that don't care so much about that, that might like harm their productivity while working remotely. And I'm also, I am. And I also believe there are a lot of people that get like they rub off the energy of other people. So you're in a workspace where everyone is very focused, everyone is like goal driven and things like that. I don't necessarily want to just measure it on a KPI standpoint, but also on a personal level, right? So me, I feel hybrid is the sweet spot.
I would, yeah, me too.
Hybrid is the sweet spot.
To be honest, I wouldn't honestly want remote 100%.
I know I would though. But
I would be.
I would. No, I would.
Honest
I
for
feel like you
me.
could train yourself to.
Train yourself not, please.
I want to see people.
Now, really.
Yeah, actually.
See my house, 2 days for hours. No social life, no friends.
Anyway,
I work better.
yeah.
I think I would work better hybrid. Let me be at the office at maybe 3 times a week or 2 times a week. Then
I think my work ethic would be better if I was on site. Like the way I work, things like that. But if I'm just like remote, it's just like, did I hit my deadline? Did I do what I'm supposed to do at that particular time? Sometimes someone could be cooking and be in a meeting, right? You just have to mute your mic, things like that. But anyway, not like I know anybody that does that. Anyway, but the next popular opinion, which I think is very nice, is nice as in it's funny, is that in tech, right, talent is overrated, but communication actually beats like actual talent.
I was about to say, when people say have technical skills, that soft skills is not really needed, is a lie. Soft skills have placed a lot of people in pedestals. I say pedestals. What? What's it?
On a pedestal.
Pedestals. Yes. So yeah, there are a lot of people that because of how they communicate, because of how their soft skills, because of their attitude, it has put them in places that they necessarily are not even qualified for.
Yeah.
I can be a very technical person. I know what I'm doing and everything, but I am rude. I'm always this. I don't want to be corrected and everything. I have that talent, but because of that attitude and everything, it's be uncomfortable for people to work with me.
So communication skills are
Exactly.
very. Yeah, I think so. I mean, I feel like I don't necessarily think it beats skill, but I think it's almost as important because I think people underestimate the ability to talk, like how useful it is to know how to talk.
I mean,
Like when you step into a room, sorry, Joy, when you step into a room, right? Are you able to string sentences together? Sometimes you don't have to know everything, right? But you're able to make these people understand that at least there is some level of I mean, it's one thing to talk and not have substance, but like as I said, it goes hand in hand, right?
yeah, you have to have the two. You have one. There's like if you have only soft skills, there'll be like some limitations that you too you will feel. If you have only the technical skill, you know that okay, there's some limitations. So
Fair enough.
it goes like both ways.
Charles, if skill, if like when you're measuring in like in tech generally, right? Skills are overrated, but like communication beats like the skill you have, or sort of like communication will take you farther than what skill, like how skill would.
Communication will take you far. Technical skills will keep you there in tech.
I like the way you put that. Clock it.
Clap. That's what I feel.
Yeah.
You get opportunities more when you interact with people. You can't sit in the safety of your room behind screens and expect opportunities to fall on your lap. Now, this boils down to networking as well. And most people feel like networking has to be physical. Sometimes it doesn't have to be physical. It can be virtually, social media and all. But what happens when you eventually get the role or you get the opportunity? You now have to prove them that you're not all talk and no work.
Yeah.
So that's where your technical skills come into play. So you cannot have one. I feel like you cannot have one without the other. You have to have both of them to actually thrive in tech.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay, so the final unpopular opinion is this is very funny. Not funny, but it's like tech, like in tech, right? College degrees or university degrees are overrated.
I wouldn't say overrated. Is this? I think this still boils.
I would.
It's what people say. I wouldn't say overrated. What I would say is you can succeed either way.
But
You can succeed
looking at
either way.
it on its own, right? Like the degree on its own, like what do you think about it? Like in the tech space, like do you think it's very like, it's very useful to have a college degree or university degree and things like that?
Not really.
So you think it's that means you think it's overrated?
What I don't want to say it's overrated. When I would say it's overrated is when you have the degree with no skills to back it up.
So
Which
do you
is
think
which is a lot of cases for most people.
exactly? So that's what I was like. Do you think a lot of people that have the college degree have as much skill? I know this. Well, we could argue for or otherwise, but like, once again, there are certain like nuances to it. So like, we could use Nigeria as a context to say like Nigerian college degrees or Nigerian university degrees, because I don't want you to say
that beg. If
within the context of Nigeria.
If we're going to speak within the context of Nigeria, then it is overrated. I feel like I don't know how cybersecurity was in Footspinner or something, but me for one, overrated. I feel like if I had taken the 4 years I spent in school to actually focus on gaining skills in cybersecurity, I'll probably not be where I am right now. That's what I feel. That's based on the Nigerian degree. So I feel like,
Fair enough.
and it boils down to the
Like Joy is speaker. Joy has.
I feel like it also
Yeah.
speaks to the content of what the curriculum is like.
I have something to say about that. That's it, right?
And it also speaks to how well your lecturers are able to transfer knowledge as well. So now you might see somebody from, okay, let's say Joy is taking the SANS Institute stuff now. And the way she would handle some situations in a workspace, in a cybersecurity workspace, will be totally different from the way somebody that went to a Nigerian university and studied cybersecurity without any external knowledge would handle it. So the quality of education makes it underrated in Nigeria.
Yeah.
That's what I feel. That's my opinion.
Okay.
Okay, so it's my time to talk. For me, if it's Nigeria, I would say if I knew what I know now, if I knew it before, you will not see me in you will not go to any university, right?
Mm-hmm.
There was one time I settled down to look at the curriculum. The curriculum is amazing, you know. I settled down to look at our curriculum for 100 level down to 500 level. If a quality lecturer actually teaches you very well, you will come out
Yeah,
with substance.
absolutely.
There are some, not even only in Nigeria, there are some schools as well that the students, after they get their degree, they don't have any technical knowledge. And then they go back to look for who will mentor them. Maybe the people that are mentoring them are people that are not even, they did not go to school or anything.
Mm-hmm.
Who would mentor them? Who would put them in the right track? What certifications they will take and all of that. There are people that will leave school and still don't have substance. I think I've also seen, I think when I was in a group chat where they put in a job offer, and these are people with master's degree. And when they were asking them for like basic Linux skills, Linux questions, they couldn't answer. They couldn't answer at all.
Did these people get their degrees from Nigeria?
Nope.
Okay. So it's not just in Nigeria today.
Not just in Nigeria. And I also say it's like your attitude towards learning as well.
Yeah, I was going to say that as well.
Your attitude towards learning. But for me in Nigeria, the 8 years I wasted.
Yeah.
No, let me rephrase. The 8 years I spent in school, if I knew sooner that, okay, what I needed to do to thrive in cybersecurity, I would have been more, I think I would have been more than where I am now.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
For me, I feel like it's hard to say. Because curriculum-wise, like Joy said, the curriculum is great.
Oh,
You want to say something? Yeah.
There are times where you need your degree. There are some
Absolutely.
levels you want to go through, like promotion wise, academic wise. You need degrees.
Yeah.
Be it
Exactly.
masters, PhD degrees, you need them.
Yeah. I mean, like, funny enough, I feel like you said you took those words out of my words because I was going to mention
So I
that.
was very eager.
I was going to mention that the reason why it's hard for me to say it's overrated is for a few reasons. Number one, I think curriculum, I'm going to use Nigerian context, right? I think the curriculum was great.
Yeah.
Delivery, I don't know, because I might have some of my lecturers watch, but I don't know if the delivery, I don't know if the delivery was like great, but I think curriculum wise. And then I also think one reason why I wouldn't say it's overrated is because it depends on the trajectory you're on, right? Your degree would open certain doors for you. Your skills are definitely what will keep you there, right? There are certain things that it's going to be hard for you to get without a degree or without I don't know, without some, and also because I'm a sucker for academic validation. I don't know, man. I just feel like academic validation is a very, very, it's very important, and I think people should strive for academic success. So for those reasons, I don't necessarily think it's overrated, but I just think exactly if you can get a first class, get a first class. If you can get a 2-1, get a 2-1. If you can, do all those things, do all those things.
You have more opportunities when you gain first class and second class upper.
You have a decent result.
When you have a decent result, you have a wider opening, actually, wider options for you to take part in. So it's not overrated. Please go to school. Go to school and try to get good grades as well, please.
Yeah, I mean, I honestly agree. And I think the issue is the overdependence on it, right? Like you shouldn't just depend on the fact that you have. I know people that would probably have I would say have good results, but they're still trying to upskill, they're still trying to do things and things like that. So I don't think people should, especially for you that is a Nigerian, that that number one, our degrees are not the highest rated. But also because if you're trying to compete on an international level, you have to prove yourself so much. So it's not just about the degree; it's also about the skills that come with it.
This is outside of what we're talking about, but also it also boils down to, let's say, after you write your work and everything, you pick a degree you want to study, but then they give you another thing. You try again, they give you another thing. You try again, give you another thing. Then you not settle.
And when you settle, you're not enthusiastic about it. You're just doing it.
And I think the scenario Joy just painted that's my life story. I settled for computer science, and I think I was discussing with my colleague sometime this week, and I was going over our curriculum, and it was so rich.
Yeah.
But whilst I was in school, I didn't see it as it being rich because why? I settled. Oof.
I have a question.
So now that I've worked in the industry for a while, I literally told my colleague that if I go back to this, the way I would, it is not your conventional universities.
Yeah.
But the way I would handle the courses will be totally different than the way I handled it because now I have genuine interest in it. So interest also matters. I had to do it as a way of, let me just go to school and get the certificate because I was tired of waiting for JAM.
So I was going to ask you a question, final question on maybe not the final question, but just to get your quick responses about it, right? Which is that, do you think that the fact that, we all agree that curriculum was great, but delivery was maybe not so great. Do you then think that one of the major reasons for this is as a result of the large level of brain drain from Nigeria as per like the people that actually know this stuff, that could teach this stuff, are leaving simply because the environment is not conducive. And we say these things. See, to be very honest, when I start talking Nigeria, like I get very like it's very personal for me. But when we talk about these things on a high level, like we don't realize the effects that it has, even down to the education that people receive, because there is no incentive for these people to stay back in the country and sort of like want to contribute because they're not paid well. I'm not trying to demarket Nigeria. Like I don't know how far this is going to go, but it's just very sad, to be honest, and it's the reality of like a lot of people, and it has so much effect, even down to like areas you think it doesn't. Yeah. So still on this topic of degrees being overrated, right? I think one of the major reasons for me, because thinking about it, I think one of the major reasons is also, I think, the state of the country, right? Because we all agree that the curriculum is not the problem, right? So it's most likely about like the delivery and how like these things were taught to people. And people could argue that, or I think also think that that's largely due to like brain drain, right? Because we get a lot of like high skill talents that are leaving the country, right, on various levels. And it's not just people that are, even high skilled lecturers are seeking for opportunities outside the country, people that actually know this stuff and people that could actually teach it. Right. So yeah, I think in a nutshell, right, the state of the country also really affects, on various levels, even down to education. And that's something I think we should, be more serious and more intentional about. And on that note, I would really love to hear like opinions, even outside of myself and Chinaza and Joy, right? Opinions of like people listening, right? First, what do you think about like the brain drain? And do you also agree that that's like a major thing that has affected education? Do you think otherwise? And also just generally share your unpopular opinions, right? There might be ones that we skipped and we didn't mention. You could, call our attention to it. And we might even come back one day and revisit, these unpopular opinions as a separate episode, and would really, really love to, hear what you guys think about it. Yeah, and that being said, thank you guys for sticking around. Thank you to my co-host. You guys have been amazing. Yeah. See you guys on the next episode.
Bye.
This is still figuring tech out.